Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Today I'm going to talk about some of the things about classic rock music and just music in general that irritate me, annoy me, bug me, irk me, get me angry. And these aren't in any particular order. I just made a list of them. There's actually a list of 12. First thing, when somebody is talking about a certain album or reviewing it or whatever, and they'll make the comment that the album is dated or sounds dated. Well, guess what? For instance, Iron Butterfly, In-A-GADDA-DA-VIDA. This was recorded in what, 1968, I believe? It sounds dated. You know why it sounds dated? It was recorded in 1968!
It was recorded in 1968!
Yeah, it's, you know, of course, if something was recorded in the 60s and you listen to it today, it's not going to sound like a modern recording. Something from the 80s, it might have those annoying drum machines on it and sound dated. But actually, for the time that it was recorded, it wasn't dated. It was the new thing with the drum machines and everything. I'm going to be so mad by the end of this video. Another thing that irks me, it's not so much with, you know, classic rock as it is other genres. But, well, actually, even with a band like Aerosmith recently, they would have a guest like Carrie Underwood singing on a track. For me, personally, when I love a band like Sparks or whatever, I don't want any guest stars, right? You know, just for me personally, it's like, I just want the band. It's just like back, you know, with the Beatles' White Album with While My Guitar Gently Weeps. They didn't have, I know that they couldn't because of, for whatever reasons, but still, I wouldn't want the White Album featuring guest star Eric Clapton. It's just kind of a turn-off in a way, for me. But maybe, you know, some of you might disagree with some of my rants here, and that's okay. Another thing that annoys me is bonus songs, demos, or whatever on an album. They're fine. But if you're going to do that, don't, you know, especially if it's a reissue of an original album, don't put the bonus tracks on at the end of the original album. It kind of takes away from the specialness of the original album. Right? It's just like with the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper box set. You know, they did it the right way. They had the bonus material on other CDs, even though, you know, there was enough room on the original Sgt. Pepper to put some bonus tracks or demos. But they didn't, you know. Respect the original album is what I guess I'm trying to say. Another thing that annoys me and irks me all at the same time, it's not as bad, I don't think it's as bad now as it was when CDs first came into existence in the 80s. But bands would release albums and they would fill the whole CD with almost, you know, 74 minutes of music. So every single album would end up being a double album or close to it. And for instance, Sparks, their latest album, The Girl Is Crying in My Latte, it's about 10 minutes shorter than their two previous ones. And I think that really helps an album not having too much music, you know, unless it's supposed to be, of course, a double album. But then have two separate CDs. But for a single CD, I think maybe 45 minutes, up to maybe 50 minutes is enough. And, you know, but once again, it's just my feelings. here's a favorite of mine for YouTube. And, well, not just for YouTube, but anywhere, I guess, online. Arguing over music. I'm not saying I've never, somebody leaves a comment, say, just recently somebody left a comment on the Beatles being really dated and they weren't that good, just going on and on and on. And I was replying at first, and then I thought, forget it, just delete. I just don't want to waste my energy, and you shouldn't either, arguing about music. We all like what we like. And nobody's going to change my mind. I'm not going to change your mind. And you're not right, you're not wrong. You just like what you like. There's people out there, believe it or not, that don't like the Beatles. I'm not going to change their mind. Let people like what they want to like. Spend your time. I wish people would spend more time just supporting the bands that they like. I've had people, I'll do a video on, say, Captain Beefheart, and somebody leaves a comment, I hate Captain Beefheart. Well, why did you click on the video? Just to tell me that, right? Go look at videos of bands that you like. Now I'm getting more serious. Yeah, I already had that commenting on bands that you don't like. It's like me, I'm not a fan of Bon Jovi. I'm not going to go, somebody does Bon Jovi's top 10 songs. I'm not going to waste my time. I hate Bon Jovi. It's like, who cares? Yeah, I get this sometimes, and this is more humorous, okay? So don't take it too personally, because even some of my friends call me this, and that's fine. But I was almost going to do a comedy video on it. But let's just do this humorously for a second, okay? Don't be offended. I'm not dude, and I'm not buddy. Don't call me dude. Feel better already. Yeah, like, hey brother, it's like, you're not my brother. Hey dude, it's like, are we in the 80s? Like, what's going on here? Okay. Yeah, genres. I get some flack sometimes. What I do when I do a video is quite often I'll put classic rock in the title because I want views, just like everybody else that makes videos. And putting classic rock in the title, I think, helps people. Oh, classic rock. But that doesn't mean when I'm doing a video on classic rock that there's not some other genre in there that I'm talking about. But it's mainly always classic rock, right? So just please remember that for future videos. And also, I guess genres also annoy me in the long run because it's all just music, right? Yeah, putting down a band that you love. I see this quite often. I'll read a review. I'm the biggest fan of Paul McCartney, and his latest album sucks. They insult Paul McCartney. It's totally fine that you don't care for the album, but it's just the way you go about it, kind of insulting the artist that you supposedly are the biggest fan of. I just don't believe in that, so. Not giving music a chance, that's right. I'm guilty of that, just like everybody probably is. You listen to a certain album, it's like, oh, that's not very good, and you never listen to it again. But I think that's a mistake. Unless it's really horrible, I think you always need to listen to an album at least 2 or 3 times. And there's many, many albums that I thought were just okay or mediocre at first, and I ended up being a big fan of. couple more and I'm done ranting and raving. Yeah, repackaging CDs. When a company puts out a CD of something that was originally on vinyl, repackages it again and again and again sometimes, I wish they would always try and keep it as authentic as possible. For instance, Joni Mitchell. These are so nicely done. They have the original gatefolds. But, you know, there's some artists that, or bands, and they re-release something, like the Chicago box set that I have, and there's no gatefolds or anything. I know sometimes maybe it's being sold a little cheaper or whatever, but I'd rather pay the extra bit of money and have the original packaging that was on the original vinyl records. So that's just something that kind of bugs me sometimes when certain companies go a little cheap with things. And the last thing is, I think it bothers a lot of us, but then even the people that it bothers, they're guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it also. Cell phones at concerts. You'll see, you know, the last few years, you'll see the audience, and they've like 90% of them have their cell phones out, and they're filming usually the entire concert. Now, I've never done that. Last year when I saw Sparks, I took maybe a minute of video and a few pictures. So I used my cell phone for maybe less than a minute. But I'm not going to watch the concert and keep filming, because I want to be there in the moment. And it's just, I just don't understand why, you know, what are you going to do? Go home? You're not going to watch it on your little camera afterwards. So I really don't get that. But of course, you know, take a picture or two or a little bit of film. I understand doing that. But that is it. I would love your thoughts of everything I said and bitched and complained about in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.